So we did a video back last year where we put a GoPro camera into our incubator and showed the chickens hatching over time and gave you a little bit of an idea of what that looked like inside. This year I thought I'd take an egg and show you some different instances of this. This is one of our Cayuga duck eggs here, and you can see I've drawn a little circle around it in Sharpie around this end. This was where the air was. Before they hatch, they start to move inside this, and I can kind of judge whether they're alive and how they're doing and whatever by marking where they were and then seeing the next day where they come up. So that's what that is. So that's not going to really affect us for this, but I just wanted to explain what was going on. So this is a duck egg. We're probably 2-3 days from hatch. And what happens is the little air pocket is around the top of the egg to begin with. And as he gets closer and closer to hatching, he's going to slide down, creating this air pocket that's more, you can see it here, more angled, right? So he's almost in the top of the or laying down in the shell, so to speak. And the point of this is to get the air pocket above him, and he weights down this side of the egg. If you can think of like a ball that has a little weight on the side of it, it's going to roll oddly and land on the heavy side. So he's basically shifting his body in here so that it can land the egg up in this position so that he can start to peck his way out. Now, if you've ever hard-boiled an egg, you'll know there's like a little membrane around that. You see it when you crack a fresh egg, the membrane that's there and the skin. Those things are things that he's got to get through before he can even begin to crack the shell. So that membrane, I think hard-boiled egg and the little almost transparent skin you peel off of the actual egg after the shell is gone. That is in here, and it is kind of sealing him in at this point. There is no oxygen inside of that membrane. He's getting the oxygen from the blood that is currently in the system, in the egg. And so he's got to poke through this membrane in order to get to the oxygen. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to show you today, is him poking through that membrane, or trying to poke through that membrane. So you'll see down at the bottom where the shadow is. Let's see if I can get this to focus better here. A little trouble. Yeah, well, there we go. There it is. Okay, so if you see the shadow down below, watch the shadow carefully, and you will see it rising a little bit. There it goes. See it moving? That is the baby duck in here moving around, scooching around. And hopefully, here in just a few seconds, we'll see the head kind of, or at least the bill kind of pop. There you see him moving. He's moving. And there it goes. There he goes. So what he's doing is that little egg tooth that is so famous, the little tooth on the end of his bill, he is thrusting that up into that membrane, trying to cut a hole in it, because once he gets that hole, which he desperately needs to get a hole, because that will allow him to breathe oxygen, the oxygen that is still in the shell. The oxygen, the blood that is in the egg itself, that was with the embryo, it is running out. And so he is kind of in that in-between point of essentially breathing liquid oxygen, or more or less getting his oxygen from the blood that's there, and now trying to actually get oxygen from the air that's inside the tip of that shell. So when he breaks through that, he will then poke through, and then he will start to call what they call pip the shell. He'll start to peck at the shell with his bill until he gets a little hole, a little crack in it, a little hole. And then pretty soon he'll start to crack around the shell as he turns in the egg and pops the top off, and then he'll come on out. Boy, there you see him moving a lot. So anyway, I thought you might be interested in seeing this. It's a little bit of something that doesn't get shown a whole lot, but it's a pretty cool thing, and it's one way to tell how close you are to your eggs hatching.